Hello, brilliant humans of the interwebs! Welcome to eSpot Live! As always, I am Ellie, and I'm joined by Rodney, and I want... so many things to address in the normally kind of chill disclaimer section. So, first up, welcome G-Man in the chat, and yes, you were indeed first this time. So I don't know how the stream is running on your end, but I am getting notifications that it's not quite. So there's that. I unfortunately am late today. First ever delayed eSpot Live. So I ran a system check and everything was perfectly fine, and then software crashed. And I kind of panicked a little bit, but I think we've got things working. However, now they're not working very well. So I did a test, a speed test, a practice run, and all of that, and things were actually running super smoothly, like it's supposed to be. The internet connection just went crazy, and so my upload speeds are not what they're meant to be. So catching up with the chat real quick. J-Man saying it's workable, that you guys are hearing me just fine, so that's good. That's good to know. Please, please, please let me know if the audio starts cutting out. I know the video's probably a bit choppy. I'm hoping that it smooths out and that this is just a very temporary bad timing dip, but we shall see. Oh, it's not even a Monday, guys. That's usually my excuse for like having a bajillion disclaimers, is it's a Monday. Alright, so yeah, what I'm hearing in the chat is that, first of all, Pandamental let G-Man be first in the chat this time, and second of all, the audio's coming across just fine, but the video's a bit choppy. So, yes, thank you so much. Just keep me updated, let me know. I am beyond sorry. I pride myself on being on time to this, so I was out of my hands 100%. But yeah, I'm glad that we're up and running. I'm glad that things seem to be working. Wolf's in the chat. Welcome, Wolf. Hopefully you heard my disclaimers. Thank you for the bits. You're awesome. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna be an adventure. Who knows what's gonna happen? Here's to hoping that it just works, because that'd be nice. I'm not gonna dwell on that any more than I already have. Yeah, I know. Excuses. It's terrible. News. I've actually got quite a bit to talk about today. So, again, we're gonna just move on past the awkward beginnings. Alright. First up to chat about, Nintendo had their first full Nintendo Direct since the start of the pandemic. Whoa! They went over a lot, guys, so I'm gonna kind of just go through some of the stuff that we caught. Just like a breakdown of everything that they revealed and discussed in the stream. Also, let me know in the chat if you guys were able to see it. So yeah, first of all, we got March. Super exciting stuff. So Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are joining the roster as a single character. So Pyra has the ability to change into Mithra on command in battle. Super exciting stuff. Really fun. I appreciate my team for putting the pronunciation of those two things in my notes, because heaven knows it wouldn't happen well without that, so yay. Yeah, so as with all of the previous fighters, the downloadable content pack will also include a new stage and new music from the JRPG series, so yay! Super Smash Bros. Update. Next, they talked about Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. That's coming to Nintendo. Popular Party Royale game revealed in a short trailer that it will release in summer of this year, so it's coming super soon, relatively speaking. Next up we have Outer Wilds. So in that, players have just 22 minutes to uncover the secrets left behind by an ancient civilization before the solar system resets. But don't fret, you can repeat that cycle to find the messages left behind and to solve the mystery of the time loop, and that's also coming this summer. So that actually sounds really, really fun. It's like this very time-limited puzzle, but you can go back and just play it in a loop, so super excited about that. It reminds me of an episode of Stargate, which is a good thing for me, because I'm a nerd. So there's that. Just catch up with the chat real quick. So Panda's saying, I streamed the Direct with friends yesterday, and I'm working on uploading it to YouTube. Nice! I love watching the Directs. Yeah, that's awesome. They've got so much info that they give us. It's really cool. Next up, that they covered in it. If you want me to go back to a specific topic. But there's actually going to be 2 Japanese mystery novel games that are making their way to the Switch for you to solve. Super fun stuff. So Famicom Detective Club's historic titles, The Missing Heir and The Girl Who Stands Behind, are both coming to North America for the first time, and they're releasing on May 14th. So that's super fun. They also talked about Samurai Warriors 5. So that's a spin-off of the legendary Dynasty Warriors franchise, and that's going to be taking place in the Sengoku period of Japan. It's following historical figures, Nobunaga Oda and Mitsuhide Akeshi. I apologize so much for the pronunciations on that, but 2 historical figures that this is going to be following. It's going to also come on to Switch this summer, so that's also being released. Really fun stuff. There's a remaster coming. So Legend of Mana is getting remastered. It's a classic Square RPG. It's going to have new music arrangements. So people who are nerdy about the backtracks like me, that's exciting stuff. And it's also going to have some new features. So you're going to be able to turn off enemy encounters, things like that. That one's going to be, the remastered version is releasing June 24th, so also coming up very soon. We got to see in this Direct a brand new trailer for Monster Hunter Rise. This trailer, it shows off gameplay, even more gameplay. It shows off some of the story, several of the giant monsters that players are going to be able to face during the game. That one's launching even sooner. That's coming March 26th, so super exciting stuff. The trailer also showed off the special edition Switch console and Pro controller. So that was a really fun little tidbit. They also gave us Mario Golf Super Rush. So that's going to be released on Nintendo Switch coming up on June 25th, 2021. It's a new Mario Golf game featuring a speed golf multiplayer mode, motion controls, a story mode, and a lot of other really cool perks. Also, Waluigi kind of looks like he walked off the set of a, mafia movie. It's legit. So that's a super exciting thing coming up. We got info on Telltale Games' Tales from the Borderlands. That is returning to digital markets, so super cool stuff. This game's set between Borderlands 2 and 3, timeline-wise, and it's releasing on March 24th, so coming up very, very soon. They announced Capcom Arcade Stadium, which is bringing back a bunch of really cool nostalgic fun. You can play a bunch of different arcade games. You can play them alone or with friends. And that collection actually launched directly after the Direct ended. So that's available as well now. Super cool stuff. Panda saying Square Enix revealed so much they might as well have had their own stream. They really did. A lot is from Square Enix. So that's kind of funny. I wonder, is it I guess it'd be Nintendo exclusive, or maybe just kind of Nintendo releases from Square Enix. I don't know. Anyways, maybe they will do their own. But I lost my place in my notes. The arcade stadium. There we go. So next they talked a bit about, Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse, which is releasing for Switch, also PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 16th, 2021. So that one's across the board. And in that game, you can build a zombie horde. You can turn humans into allies. Super fun stuff in that. We have an official release date now for No More Heroes 3. They showed a brand new trailer showing Travis Touchdown tearing through aliens with his beam katana and more. So you're going to be able to play that and save the world on August 27th. So that's a bit of a later date, but still coming up this year. There was a new game shown called Neon White, where you can become an assassin of demons in heaven. It's a first-person card battler. And there was a short trailer released where they showed gameplay. It looks really, really intriguing. That one's set to release this winter, so definitely looking forward to that. On June 4th, 2021, there's some, like, really cool teen empowering superhero game coming to Nintendo Switch. So you can play as superheroes like Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and Batgirl. And this is in DC Superhero Girls Teen Power coming to Switch. So I think that's awesome. As a girl obsessed with superheroes who didn't really talk about it or express that when I was a teen, because I felt like that was more of the guys' domain. And I also feel like I knew some about it, but I didn't read the comics, so I didn't know as much as some of my guy friends about it. And so I didn't want to be embarrassed by, like, not being a good enough fan. There's so many layers of social limits in that, but I am always for things that really empower young women to dive into nerdiness head first, and that's what this is. So really, really cool. In the chat, really quick, Wolf Graphics is saying, whoa, wait a sec, what was that about the zombie horde? So I'm gonna go back and mention that real quick. So it's Stubbs the zombie, and Rebel Without a Pulse is the one with the zombie horde. So you actually get to build a zombie horde. Like, you're playing as the zombie, which it's super fun. And then the most important information, obviously, is it's coming out on March 16th. So that's actually a really, really soon release date. Hold on. It's coming up soon. And it's across the board. So it's going to be on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The trailer didn't reveal too much, but it still looks kind of fun. Anyways, also in the chat, Silly Fun saying, Lady Nerds Unite! Indeed. So yeah, super fun stuff. Gotta find my place and get better with filler words aside from super fun, because I feel like I've said that a gajillion times just in this direct recap. Alright, so also in the Nintendo Direct, they talked about an 8 vs 8 multiplayer madness game when Plants vs. Zombies Battle for the Neighborville comes to Switch. That's coming March 18th. So that's fun for people who are into multiplayer competitions. There was a better way to word that. It's fine. Also, the Nintendo 3DS favorite Miitopia is coming to the Switch as well. So you get to make Meat characters of your friends and choose their roles from a knight, princess, or the Dark Lord. And that one's releasing on May 21st. On March 1st, Animal Crossing New Horizon is going to be getting special Super Mario items in order to celebrate the Plumber's 35th anniversary. So that's a fun crossover event. Catching up on the chat real quick. Wolf saying, this is why I asked, because I started this almost 2 years ago, and there wasn't any games where the zombie was the main character. I feel like that's, it's definitely not the main trope that people go with, so it's a less common story for sure. I think it's fun to play with. I remember watching Warm Bodies when it came out, and that obviously has the main protagonist and hero as a zombie. And I really, really enjoyed that. So I think that they're kind of, people are playing with different aspects of gameplay and storytelling. But yeah, I'm interested to see, because we don't know exactly what it's going to be like, but it's like got a really fun premise. So we'll see. We'll see how the game comes out. Alright, next up in Nintendo Direct, Square Enix is back again with another JRPG. That one has the working title of Project Triangle Strategy. It is an HD 2D strategy game where every decision counts, so both on and off the field of battle. The game looks like it's a successor, but not a sequel to Octopath Traveler, and it's set to release next year in 2022, but there's a demo available now, which is super fun stuff. Again, with the super fun, there's other words in the English language, and I'll figure them out eventually. Next up, Star Wars Hunters is a new free-to-play squad-based online multiplayer game by Zynga, and that is set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. It's coming to Switch in 2021, no official release date, but for Star Wars and sci-fi nerds like myself, I'm a nerd about a lot of things. It's super exciting. I said something other than super fun stuff. Next up to chat about Battle Royale meets Dodgeball in Knockout City. So this game was revealed in a quite funny trailer with several game characters talking about how they handle battle, and even themselves play the upcoming game. So you can head to this eccentric battlefield on May 21st. Then there's World's End Club, which is a new game from the creators of Danganronpa. Again, I butchered that, it's okay. And the Zero Escape series. The official description for World's End Club is you and 11 others, known as the Go-Getters Club, set off on a captivating journey across Japan and experience an adventure that blends side-scrolling action with a suspenseful narrative. This game is launching on May 28th. Next up, Supergiant's Hades will be getting a physical release for the Switch. So this is going to be the same game, but there's 2 extra gifts included. A digital PC code for the game's soundtrack. Again, music nerds unite. And a 32-page full-color art book. Sorry, really cool. The physical edition of the Indie Game of the Year will be available coming on March 19th. So it's coming up very, very soon, just a couple of weeks. And I know that our very own Pandamental is like freaking out about this art book, right? There it is in the chat. Art book! Yeah, it's a really fun edition. You don't hear about that often. I've definitely rambled before about how much I love multimedia and storytelling and kind of bridging, connecting things. Like, it's not book versus movie, it's book and movie. They can expand on each other's stories or sometimes tell completely different stories with a different media. And then, so art and video games and music and all of it. Yes. That was not English, but I just am going to believe you understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's exciting. Panda saying I didn't ask to be attacked, but okay. Set myself up for this because of how much I've hyped the game. What can I say? Alright, moving right along. Ninja Gaiden. It's either Gaiden or Gaiden. Let me know in the chat because I went back and forth in my head a couple of times. Anyways, the Master Collection was announced for Switch and brings together remasters of Ninja Gaiden Sigma and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. Again, hopefully I'm saying this right. And Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge and all DLC. So this full collection is going to be released together on June 10th of 2021. I don't see anybody yelling at me for pronunciation in the chat, but y'all are probably used to it by now. So I'm gonna just move right along. Next up, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity will be getting an expansion pass. So that's really fun. It's going to cost $19.99 and come in 2 different waves. So the first is releasing in June, the second will release in November. The waves are going to include new weapons, challenges, enemies, as well as new playable characters. Yay! Square Enix again released their final trailer for the highly anticipated Bravely Default 2, as well as a new demo for that. That one's releasing February 26th, which might be the soonest release. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection is going to be released on Switch on February 25th, which is sooner than the other one, so spoke too soon. And also, you know, if we hadn't already had enough from Square Enix, they also announced that Saga Frontier Remastered will be arriving on Nintendo Switch on April 15th. So Square Enix just had so much to talk about. Next up, Apex Legends will finally make its debut on the Nintendo system coming up on March 9th. So all Switch players will receive a new skin for the Legend Pathfinder and will earn double XP for the first 2 weeks of play. So that's super cool for fans of Apex Legends. And then the producer of the Legend of Zelda series made an appearance on the Direct to tell fans that they will reveal information on the Breath of the Wild 2 later this year. So it was like a hint of a hint just to hype people up, which we talked about hype. It's like, yay, a good thing, but also interesting with the ramifications. But yeah, here's to hoping we'll see something at E3 ? Again, that hasn't been confirmed. They just said later this year we'll hear something about Breath of the Wild 2, but hey. Moving on, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD will bring the Wii title to the Nintendo Switch with fine-tuned motion controls as well as button-only input. And that's for players who prefer the Switch's handheld mode or own a Switch Lite. There's also going to be a limited edition set of Joy-Con controllers that are releasing the same day as the game, and that's coming up on July 16th. Nintendo then ended the stream with one final announcement. Splatoon is back! So the reveal trailer showed an inkling in a desert heading to a new city called Splatlands. And we also got a glimpse of a new bow weapon, customization options, and more. This is set to release in 2022. And so that's all I got on the Direct summary. Hopefully I covered everything. And also, I apologize for kind of rushing through that a little bit, but with the late start and a lot of information, I wanted to make sure that I could cover everything. So that's all I got. If you have questions or concerns, let me know in the chat. Also, check out Nintendo Direct. Moving right along to my next newsy topic of the day. Something I am super stoked about. Tim Burton is making his first TV show for Netflix. Yes! So Tim Burton is bringing a live-action Wednesday Addams series to Netflix. It's gonna just be called Wednesday. So Wednesday Addams obviously has, for a very long time, been the standout character from the Addams family. Obviously, we all love... Well, I say we all. I love the Addams family in general, but Wednesday really kind of like stands apart from the crowd, I feel like. Especially looking at like the Addams Family cartoon and subsequent film adaptations. So, you know, traditionally you see a 7-year-old obsessed with death and, you know, Wednesday getting into all sorts of shenanigans, from performing experiments on her brother Pugsley to raising pet spiders. She's an interesting and fun character. In the early cartoons, Wednesday's the younger sibling to Pugsley and the Addams' only daughter, but more recent adaptations, we've actually seen Wednesday become the older sibling. So just for people who have kind of recap, if you haven't necessarily kept up with all of the different adaptations, Christina Ricci's famously portrayed Wednesday in the Addams Family and Addams Family Values live-action films. That version of Wednesday took on a really dark, more nihilistic tone that really mined the character for comedic effect. And then more recently, Chloe Grace Moretz voiced Wednesday in the 2019 animated The Addams Family. While that film itself received very mixed reviews, Moretz and the rest of the cast were praised for their vocal talent. So now Wednesday is being brought back into the live-action realm, and Burton himself is going to be making his first foray into television with this series for Netflix. Burton is also serving as the director on the series, and the series is kind of talked about as a coming-of-age tale set at Nevermore Academy. The series is going to follow Wednesday as a student at the academy as she investigates strange supernatural mysteries occurring at the school. Burton had previously been associated with an Addams Family related project. That proposed film would have been a 3D stop-motion animated project, but it was eventually scrapped. Reports also circulated late last year that Burton was working on a live-action television show about the Addams Family, but details have been just really scarce until now. Okay, so the aesthetic, though, it's just, it's gonna be such a good blend, I think, because Burton's aesthetic really is perfect for the bizarre, weird, and dark world of the Addams Family. So he really does seem like a natural pick to direct a film or series centered around the family or any of the characters. It is a little disappointing, I think, that the series won't be following the family, like the full family. But if any one character has to be pulled out, I think Wednesday's the perfect choice for that. And there's obviously a chance that we're going to see the rest of the family throughout the series. But as Wednesday is set at Nevermore Academy, it doesn't seem like they're going to be as integral to the storyline. Until then, though, it's all speculation as to what exactly it's going to cover, who we're going to see, and even which actress will be selected to play the titular character. We don't know yet. So definitely be keeping an eye on that, and as we hear more info, I'm gonna pass it along to you. I'm super excited about it. I think it's gonna be a super fun project. I'm already like a huge fan of the talent that we know is involved in the project. I'm a huge fan of the character. I think it's gonna be a great blend. So Silly Fun in the comments is saying, wouldn't Wednesday be the one causing the supernatural mysteries though? That'd be a fun plot twist if she's just sitting there investigating. Like, I feel like that would happen. Like, she's just causing all these problems and then like investigating and misdirecting everybody. Who knows? I think that'd be super fun. I said super fun again. Has that always been my catchphrase and I'm just noticing it today because I'm like a little flustered at being behind? Or is that just today's catchphrase? I don't know. So yeah, I am really excited about that. And I'm trying to catch up. The chat is lit right now. Thank you guys. I'm loving this. So I'm like trying to keep up on the chat as well. But yeah. Oh no! Alright, so G-Man's been saving up and has redeemed Lose the Glasses. If I remember that correctly, I have to lose the glasses for 5 minutes. So that's starting now. Oh goodness. Silly Fun is confirming that that's the catchphrase of the day. Super fun. This is super fun, guys. Great. So, for those of you who have not seen this happen before, one of the perks of being a subscriber is you get to redeem things, and one of the perks you can redeem is losing the glasses. I'm not, like, completely reliant on my glasses, but what I do need them for in particular is focusing on things. And so when I don't have glasses, my notes that I'm supposed to be talking about get very blurry. And I get to blame the fact that I can't pronounce anything on the fact that I can't see. And then I also get super squinty and awkwardly close to the screen. So you're welcome. How did I live for most of my life like this, by the way? Actually, no, I know the answer to that question. I stayed late after class and, like, squinted at the board to write things down. But focusing on the newsy stuffs, moving on to the next topic while I'm a little bit, at a bit of a disadvantage, but hopefully an amusing one for you guys. All right. So you may remember from a previous eSpot Live episode, I shared the story of an attempt to play a Pokemon game through a specific Twitter account profile. Ladies and gentlemen, they won. It took a little bit. It took 40 days. It took the loss of many Pokemon and over 90,000 comments. But Twitter's finally beaten Pokemon Red. I'm like, squinting. So yeah, it finally happened, guys. They finally beat him. So it took a month and a half, and over this time frame, a group of Twitter users have been playing Pokemon Red through another user's profile picture. So essentially, people would vote down in the comments of a particular thread for an action they'd like the game's protagonist to take. The winning vote would then take place in the game, and the profile picture would shift to accommodate that. So the mastermind behind the playthrough, Constantine Lytard, posted a picture of Twitter's victory onto his Twitter feed on Wednesday. In the chat really quick, in addition to commenting on glasses, G-Man saying, oh, is this like the Twitch plays Pokemon, but Twitter instead? Yes, it's very similar. It went much more smoothly on Twitch due to trolls, mostly, which I'll get to as well. But yeah, so the mastermind behind the game posted a picture of the victory onto his Twitter feed on Wednesday, showing an understandably angry Blue stood in front of a seemingly underleveled Growlithe. So one user explained that they were using the Elite Four to grind for money for a Firestone in order to evolve Growlithe, but accidentally ended up beating the game instead, which is kind of fantastic. So when you consider the team behind this and the number of people involved, it's understandable that they managed to beat Blue with the amount of power they had. The Pokemon that have now been inducted into the Hall of Fame are an Alakazam, Dodrio, Growlithe, Lapras, Dragonite, and Zapdos. I probably butchered those names as well. Real quick shout out to people who, like, read a lot as a kid and never said things aloud. I've learned that I actually mispronounce so many things. Like, random example that comes to mind is in the Aragon Inheritance Cycle, those books. I called Sapphira for years because I never had to say it out loud. I never heard anybody else say it out loud, and it was just that in my head. So I feel like Pokemon names fit into that with me, where, like, I've seen them, I've just never really said them out loud. Anyways, there we go. That's my little aside. I'm at like 4 minutes without my glasses. All right. Anyways, so those are the Pokemon characters involved. It's likely that the Dragonite and Zapdos did a lot of the heavy lifting. So in that same Twitter post, Lytard thanked everybody who worked together to achieve the victory. He also revealed all the details, that again, it took 40 days and 90,000 comments in order to complete the game from start to finish. So the last time we saw this happen was, as G-Man mentioned, on Twitch. So this took considerably longer than the Twitch attempt. Twitch beat the game in just 16 days, but again, it can be argued that the Twitter users had a much larger challenge. So up until the day prior to Twitter's victory, a group of Twitter users calling themselves Team Rocket were managing to completely derail the progress. So specifically the day prior to the victory, they waited until a group of dedicated daily players were asleep, and then Team Rocket took control and released all but one of the Pokemon back into the wild. Twitter obviously recovered incredibly well, managed to assemble an even stronger team, and went on to beat the game. But yeah, they were up against some serious opposition. So congratulations to Twitter and anyone who was involved in that particular playthrough. You won! I think stuff like that is really fun, finding different unique ways. I think my favorite is still the fish that played and won the game. But this is super fun. I did that one on purpose. All right, I'm done being blind. It's been 5 minutes. It's been more than 5 minutes. Yay. Hey, I can see clearly now with glasses on. I apologize for that. No, I don't. Kind of do. I don't know yet. Anyways. Silly Fun is saying, is defending my pronunciation of Sapphira, so thank you for that. It is a great series. Yeah. Alright. Getting my notes together now that I can see and scroll properly. How is this taking me longer than when I couldn't see? It's fine. All right, so another topic I have to talk about is a very, very interesting little battle of the wills going on between Facebook and lawmakers in Australia. So, Facebook has chosen to block all Australian and international news from the feeds of its Australian users as the company escalates its opposition to a proposed new law that would require tech companies to pay for the journalism they display. So essentially it's turned into a battle of who should be paying for news to appear on people's feeds on Facebook. And Facebook's response to that has literally just been blocking all of it, which has had actually a lot of repercussions. So, quote by Facebook Australia and New Zealand MD William Easton. He posted a statement this morning that alleged that, quote, the proposed law fundamentally misunderstands the relationship between our platform and publishers who use it to share news content. He claims that Google search, for example, is inextricably intertwined with news and publishers do not voluntarily provide their content, but on the other hand, publishers willingly choose to post news on Facebook as it allows them to sell more subscriptions, grow their audiences, and increase advertising revenue. So they're claiming essentially that, you know, while some tech companies like Google, they might, you know, gain off of these types of hits, they're claiming that Facebook is actually doing news companies a favor by posting there. But unfortunately, Facebook's summary removal of all news from Australian feeds has resulted in the removal of a large number of non-news organizations as well. This is including emergency services, government health departments, various charities, satirical comedy websites, video game publishers, and even a host of international sports teams. So there have been a couple of feeds that were blocked but then restored by Facebook. So that includes Fire and Rescue New South Wales and Western Australia's Department of Fire and Emergency Services. But many are still and remain to be inaccessible there's a non-profit organization, Bowel Cancer Australia, to EA, to apparently the Denver Broncos, because that seems related. For its part, the Australian government is reportedly moving ahead with the legislation. They're guessing that it will pass through the Senate next week. So the response from Communications Minister Paul Fletcher to telling ABC is that Facebook needs to think very carefully about what this means for its reputation and standing. We will be making the point that the position that Facebook has taken means that the information that people see on Facebook does not come from organizations with a fact-checking capability, paid journalists with editorial policies. So Facebook claims that it generated approximately 1.5 billion referrals to Australian publishers last year. This is a figure it says is worth an estimated 407 million AUD. However, from the Australian perspective, the Australian Tax Office's most recent annual corporate tax transparency report indicates that Facebook made over 582 million AUD in revenue in 2018 to 2019, but only declared a taxable income of 51.4 million AUD and paid only 15.4 million AUD in taxes. That's a lot of like numbers and he said, she said, and claiming. So the Australian government is claiming that the Facebook is making a lot of money through them essentially. And Facebook is claiming that they're making more money through subscriptions because it's on Facebook. So it's a bit of a mess there. Facebook's Australian operation has previously faced scrutiny for reducing its taxable income by sending hundreds of millions of dollars to undisclosed overseas subsidiaries. So this is an interesting battle. Like I said, it seems very much to be a battle of the wills. A lot of claiming about who owes whom what for anything. But as we're seeing, you know, Facebook has that power play. They're like, okay, fine, you want to block it, then let's block it. And they might have in some ways overplayed their hand, because by blocking all of these outlets, they're kind of showing that they do have a lot of power in that, in what does or does not show up on the feed. What do you guys think? I'm really curious. I'm going to catch up on the chat real quick. G-Man saying this is probably going to hurt News Corp a lot. And then they should pay us for access to our users. Yeah. And then Wolf is saying, yeah, and Facebook for Business actually gets paid to boost the post of the companies, and it's Facebook targeting who sees the post. So yeah, from that perspective of it, like from even my initial perspective is for sure, like, how are you going to charge Facebook for people posting through them, right? Because I, as an individual on Facebook, have an account, and if I choose to market or something through them, that's me posting and like drawing people in or controlling what I post, posting information, etc. So news outlets are choosing to use Facebook as a broadcasting for their news, right? But then you get into all of the numbers of, essentially it really seems to be boiling down to taxes. So G-Man saying News Corp is an Australian company that owns Fox. That's interesting. So honestly, it's boiling down to battle of the wills between two companies that are both avoiding paying taxes. Okay. Interesting to see kind of like, yeah, I'm interested to see what will come of this, because Facebook is starting this out by, like, essentially, like I said, kind of playing hardball, maybe being a little petty, but also worth mentioning that they're going up against the Australian government and the Australian Senate, so what can they really win? But then, like, I'm sure, I know in the US perspective of things, what goes through our Senate is often paid for by corporations, so it's all a big back and forth of legitimately just two companies going in at each other to avoid taxes, and the people who are, like, being affected by this are the people on Facebook who can no longer access news, but also apparently information on the Denver Broncos, because I don't know if that's super popular in Australia, but it's, but also, again, the emergency services thing, that's a big deal. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and use this as a good transition to take my water break. But please do continue the conversation in the chat, because I'd like to understand a little bit more about it, and what you guys think. But in the meantime, as always, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that water is important. It's time to hydrate or dihydrate. Wolf's in the chat already saying rum. I know you like your rum. I also do like rum. I'm definitely a fan of delicious beverages that are not water, but they do not count as proper and true hydration. So no, like tea, coffee, Coca-Cola, chalky milk, all of these things are lovely, and there's a time and place, and it's good on you, splurge away. But now is the time for water, because your kidneys love you and need you to love them back. And with that, I'm going to get off my high horse and go ahead and drink some water. I'll be right back. just goes to show that you can drink water in a short period of time. So time cannot be your excuse to not hydrate. All right, I'm honestly done harping on that now for today. You'll get it again on Monday. All right, next up in newsy topics to babble about today. HBO Max has ordered more kid-friendly shows with the express purpose of competing more directly with Disney Plus and Netflix. So, with orders for new shows, specials, and movies from some of Cartoon Network's biggest franchises, including Ben 10, Teen Titans Go, and The Amazing World of Gumball, HBO Max is leaning really hard into kids and family content with an effort to compete with the top players like Netflix and Disney Plus. So, at the center of Warner Media's plans to make HBO Max a must-have streaming service for families in the way that Disney Plus and Netflix have become, they've done this unveiling Cartoon Network as the core family brand at Warner Media. So, the new series and specials ordered for HBO Max will join a library of shows and movies that make up 3,000 hours of content. It's really fun saying Game of Thrones Jr. now for kids. Yeah, pretty much. I feel like that probably actually exists. I was going to say somebody should make it, but that has to exist. A PG version or like a G version of Game of Thrones where they just cut out everything that's not G rated and it's like 5 minutes on YouTube. I don't know if that exists, but it should. It'd be hilarious. Anyways, focusing on the actual topic, kind of related. Branding is super important, right? And it's really, really difficult. But that's what's been really working for a studio like Disney. They've built their brand on this family-friendly, kid-friendly perspective, right? To the point where they limit adult content. And HBO Max is coming up into the kind of opposite end of that, where they do have quite a bit of kid-friendly and family-friendly content, but their branding and what they're known for is really, really focused on adult content. Which, you know, from there they kind of have two choices. They can really lean into their already existing branding, and what they're known for of that adult content and say, okay, well, we have more adult content than the other places. But in doing that, they've really seen kind of a hit because they've built themselves up to be like an additional streaming service, right? A lot of people obviously have families. You want content that is good across the board, that your kids can watch, that your teens can watch, and that adults can watch. And like I said, it's not that HBO Max does not have this content, they just haven't marketed it the same way. And so now we're seeing this push to really, really market their child-friendly content. So, just an example of that with the marketing. Disney Plus is really built around its biggest franchises. This includes Pixar, which makes it this easy sell for families, right? And so by leaning into Cartoon Network, which already has its dedicated hub on HBO Max's homepage. It's already there, but now they're unveiling it and they're advertising it, all these, as well as producing more content specifically for Cartoon Network. Warner Media is likely hoping that some families are going to be spending more time on HBO Max instead of Disney Plus. Kids content is a massive commodity, especially right now. Seeing over the past year or so with this pandemic, it's necessary, really. If you have parents now working from home with their children in the same room, you can see why child-specific entertainment, like that focus has really, the importance of it has really, really gone up. So a morning consult study from August of 2020 showed that YouTube and Netflix ranked as the top 2 platforms on which kids aged 5 to 12 spend time. So roughly 65% of kids pick YouTube as their go-to entertainment source, and 55% pick Netflix. So there's some overlap there in the numbers. People are doing both. Anyways, And from that perspective, what I would assume is what the parents have. Obviously, what the parents are paying for streaming is what the kids are going to watch. And then at the same time that we've seen those numbers, we've seen cable networks like Nickelodeon lose just massive amounts of their audience. We've seen a drop of nearly 50% of its viewership on Nickelodeon between 2015 and 2020, and this is according to Forbes. So while viewership on cable is down, the time kids are spending on screen is ratcheting way up. They're just obviously getting it directly from streaming services. Study actually showed that about 55% of households are interested in having 2 subscription-based streaming services. So think 2 premium services like Netflix and HBO Max, for example. And with however many streaming services you can think of off the top of your head, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, all of these different things, if people are willing to budget for 2, you really have to market to a broad audience to try to make sure you're hooking one of those 2 subscriptions in an average household, right? So if companies are trying to figure out how to scale their streaming platforms and then keep said subscribers, giving families everything they need in one place is really critical move. So streaming platforms must have something for everyone, when at the same time everyone is looking for something, right? So that's just so especially true right now in this moment in a pandemic when everyone's at home looking to keep themselves and their family members entertained, educated. Max, they're a platform that, again, that's not all they have, but they're most associated with adult-oriented TV shows and films. It's really, really tough to get that family message across. So AT&T CEO John Stankey told Virtual Audience during a Wall Street Journal conference that part of HBO and HBO Max content head Casey Bloy's new job is figuring out a way to allocate content spending, which will, quote, hit that entire breadth of the family. So while HBO orders teen-centric shows like Euphoria and The Upcoming Generation, Cartoon Network and shows like Sesame Street will likely have a bigger presence now on HBO Max. Warner Media is not the only company trying to figure it out. So recently, Apple announced a multi-year deal with Skydance Animation. So that's going to include feature films and shows targeted at families. YouTube announced that its YouTube Kid app has more than 35 million weekly viewers, and it's giving parents even more customization power to let kids watch even more content within that particular app. Netflix, again, we already mentioned the Wednesday Addams series from Tim Burton. That's going to likely be finding that teenage audience. And then also next week, Viacom CBS is going to unveil its Paramount Plus streaming service. Yet another streaming service. And including talking about how Nickelodeon and family content fits into the company's strategy. So Warner Media really already has all the right tools to be one of the leaders in the kids and family space as well. Cartoon Network is a treasure trove of IP. Add in Sesame Street, Looney Tunes, and streaming rights to the Studio Ghibli collection in the US. That's a lot of kid-friendly, family-friendly content. And that's on top of Warner Bros. Films, HBO shows, and more. So the only issue, really, that they're facing right now with getting HBO Max accepted in that realm is getting that message out and really, really marketing and rebranding. Because, again, families know what they're getting into with Netflix. They know what they're getting into with Disney Plus. But what they're getting into with HBO Max isn't always as kind of obvious in that. I'm going to take the chance to catch up on the chat because there's a lot going on with this one, which is awesome. Silly Fun saying, nothing like plopping your kids down in front of the TV and saying adios. But on a serious note, don't let a TV raise your kids. That's definitely fair. I think, like I said, right now is, there's a lot to consider with just kind of like keeping people dealing in the middle of pandemic. And also there's quite a bit of educational content for kids available on YouTube, on Netflix, Disney can definitely be culturally educating. I don't know if they have anything that's like specifically branded as education for kids. I don't personally have any kids, so I'm not as familiar with that. Also in the chat, there's some teasing going on with spiders. I'm gonna just jump past that. I'm gonna ignore it. There's not a spider behind me. That's not... There's... Dang it! That's just not nice. Anyways, I'm gonna just choose to believe that there's not a moving spot on my butterflies. I don't see anything! Okay. You know what? Whatever. Only live once, right? And then Wolf saying, just went to buy a new phone today. Part of the package for the new Galaxy is an HBO app. That's something I've noticed as well. I've been looking into purchasing a new phone as well. I've noticed that they're like pitching different subscriptions, like 6-month subscriptions with the sales, and that's like a way that they're beefing up their sales, which is kind of makes sense because people are watching this stuff on their phone. But at the same time, I'm like, I would prefer a discount on the phone personally, but that's just me. Silly Fun's asking if it includes a subscription or just the app. It's the subscription. So you get the app. I'm assuming the app is included on the new phone, and then the subscription itself, it's like a free 6-month subscription. And I saw deals for YouTube, deals for HBO Max, deal for quite a few different things. And then Wolf saying, I don't know, I'm not paying $1,200 for a phone. I'm crazy, not stupid, which is fair. That's okay. So this is getting a little bit off topic, but I think I'm allowed. My phone is 5 years old. I don't know how it's lived this long, but I'm very, very grateful for it. It's definitely on its last legs. Not only because the system stopped updating, the software stopped updating like 2 years ago, but like batteries going out. It's like everything at once. The battery, the screen, like I've been kind of putting up with it for the last year, and now it's really, really just like on its last legs. But new phones are more expensive than computers. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, so the conversation in the chat's just kind of continuing both on, the fact that children on streaming apps, essentially, but also how that kind of subscription plan works. Like I said, from what I understood and saw, it's like 6-month free subscriptions, which I'm sure they catch you on. I really don't like free trial periods, especially longer ones, and this sounds really, really weird. Like a month is pretty much my maximum because I'll just shove a notification in my phone and like cancel it before then. But if you give me a free 6-month subscription, I'm gonna forget about it, and I guarantee you have to sign up with your payment info, right? Because that's how they do stuff like that. And then suddenly it's been a year and you didn't realize that you've been paying for it for 6 months. Budgeting is important, kids. Be careful what you're spending money on. Anyways, all right, that's that rant done. Before I dig myself into a completely unrelated hole. Next up to chat about is a fun little crossover that's happening in the Marvel comic world. Apparently we're getting Predator versus Marvel? So, okay, the Predator is stalking the heroes of the Marvel Universe in a series of variant covers coming this May. So, beginning with Amazing Spider-Man number 65, the covers by Corey Smith, Superlog, Jung Yoon, Juan Jose Rip, Mattia De Luis, and Chris Sprouse all show the heroes of their respective titles locked in combat with the intergalactic Predator. Other variant covers include Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 26, Fantastic Four number 32, and Guardians of the Galaxy number 14. Marvel has hinted at even more variant covers to be revealed at a later date. So all of this news comes after Marvel announced it would be creating new comics based on the Alien and Predator licenses. Alien and Predator comics, people. That was almost an English sentence. It's fine. So Disney, who owns Marvel, also acquired film studio 20th Century Fox in 2019, and therefore now holds the movie rights to Alien and Predator. This also marks another license that's transferred from Dark Horse Comics to Marvel. with the Star Wars license obviously undergoing a similar treatment in 2014. So Marvel had previously unveiled a series of variant covers for Alien in January, which featured heroes including Thor and the Fantastic Four encountering the nightmarish xenomorphs. An Alien ongoing series from Philip Kennedy Johnson, known for Superman and Action Comics, and Salvatore Larroca, known for Star Wars Darth Vader and the Invincible Iron Man, will come in March. So all of the aforementioned covers have been officially revealed. They're absolutely amazing. It's a fun mashup that you wouldn't see coming. And so a creative team for the upcoming Predator series has yet to be revealed. But it is coming. And it's being announced by Marvel Predator mashups, which is a really fun way to do it. Also worth noting, while we're on the comic topic, Amazing Spider-Man number 65 is going on sale May 5th, coming from Marvel. So that's what I got on the comic topic for today. Next up to chat about, Rockstar Energy has partnered with 100 Thieves. Some of you might have actually caught this. So Rockstar Energy Drink's 30-second Super Bowl ad, obviously, a while back, in the Super Bowl. That particular ad featured a brief cameo from 100 Thieves founder and CEO, Matthew Nadeshot Hogg, one of those, where he was kind of just sort of sitting there doing his best impression of a pro gamer. And, you know, considering the fact that he is a Call of Duty world champion, he did a decent job. It turns out that was just like the very first stage of a larger partnership between 100 Thieves and Rockstar, which is continuing on throughout all of 2021. The press release had a lot of words about Nadeshot being a visionary leader for a premium lifestyle brand, and how pairing up aligns Rockstar with the cultural zeitgeist. But we're going to skip all of that because it's its own thing. But what's kind of important, I guess, is that Nadeshot and the 100 Thieves will become the primary faces of Rockstar Energy in 2021. So, specifically in advertising to gamers, right? They'll also be integrating Rockstar products into the 100 Thieves Cash App compound. So that's, you know, the $50 million gamer compound that hasn't really been getting a whole lot of use over the pandemic, but hey. And they're going to help fund the Heist docuseries about 100 Thieves, and also the Hype Goes Pro web series. Rockstar will also be providing merch for giveaways, which is really nice of them, I guess. So an official quote from Fabiola Torres, who's the chief marketer of Pepsi's energy drink division, says, partnering with 100 Thieves allows Rockstar Energy to engage and fuel new communities and energy drinkers in the gaming and lifestyle space, alongside our core fan base and action and motorsports stronghold. 100 Thieves is the epitome of a successful hustle to the top, and we are inspired to share their story and in turn inspire everyday hustlers. So stay tuned for Nadeshot to appear in future Rockstar Energy social media content. So probs in the ads. I said probs. Why did I say that? I don't just know. Alongside and along with YouTuber Nicolu and Two Hypes Chris London. So fun little mashup there. What I learned from this particular topic is that Rockstar is a Pepsi beverage. I didn't know that. Anyways, moving right along. The last thing that I have to chat about in the generalized topic of game series getting an anime. So we talked, I feel like last time, a lot about different, you know, series. Anyways, connected, slightly different. So, wow, I'm doing great with the transitions. I'm going to jump in and say, do we have any Dota fans in the chat? Anybody playing Dota? No? Yes? Maybe? If you're a fan of Dota, if you're a fan of anime, if you're a fan of either or both, now they're coming together. So Valve's game, Dota, is getting a Netflix series. It's going to start on March 25th. Honestly, there's not too much in the teaser trailer that was released. And it doesn't really do a whole lot to define itself as a Dota product. But that doesn't really mean much. We're going to have to wait and see how it turns out. once we get a more robust preview, or better yet, an episode. The trailer does give away some important information that's really easy to process for Dota players. So the title of the series, Dragon's Blood, as well as the characters mentioned in the trailer being Davion, the Dragon Knight indicate, it indicates that the series is going to hinge on Davion as a central character. So in Dota, Davion is a tanky, regenerating brawler that can transform into a dragon in order to gain immense power. So that's pretty much all we really got, and most of what they gave us was only really picked up on by Dota fans. So what we don't know yet is what the series is going to look like, if it's going to be that traditional hero's journey anime following Davion's adventures. We don't know if there's going to be other Dota characters showing up along the way. We don't know who the big bad's going to be. Really, right now it's anybody's guess. They haven't given us much, which is kind of exciting in a sense. I think it's probably nerve-wracking for fans, but it's also kind of exciting because it can go any direction right now. It's not going to be the first time that the cast of the Dota universe has left their traditional home inside of Dota 2. Valve's Artifact also gave the characters new interactions and flavor. But here's to hoping that these new updates can bring new life to the game in the future. More updates on the show are going to be posted on the official Dota 2 blog leading up to the release. Here's to hoping we get some new information soon. Obviously, as we get information, we'll give it to you guys. Lot of potential. I feel like there's so many things here that just have, it's like that, it's in that pre-stage where there's just all of the potential. We have no clue what's going to come out. It's really exciting. And that's my hype. Wow, what a day. Not even a Monday. That's all I have to chat about from a news perspective, entertainment news, for today's episode of eSpot Live. So as always, and more than usual, I just want to thank you guys so much for putting up with this. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of your continued support. Thank you for all the bits and the silly challenges. And thank you guys so much for just engaging in the chat. It makes my day in ways you can't even imagine. I don't really have anything external to pitch today. I usually wrap up with a little bit of a shameless pitch, but just follow us on social media. Check us out on Steam. Share it with your friends. We've got really, really cool updates coming soon. If you checked out Awoken when it first released and have not really touched it since, you've not seen Awoken. So make sure you check it out. We're doing a lot of work. We're taking all of the feedback we can get and just pouring it into that. So yeah, check out Steam page. We're on Discord. We're on Twitch, obviously. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All of the things. Thank you. From me and everyone at DBSI. We just really, really appreciate all your support, and I appreciate your endless patience for technical glitches and awkwardness. I appreciate you guys so much more than I could ever say. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me and conversing with me. I will be back here on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. if you live on the other coast. In the meantime, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and most importantly, as always, stay devious.